just check out the hall pub?
Oh, sir. My name is Police Officer Ali. I'm a representative of the university. Someone filed a complaint against you for being on private property. So I'm going to have to ask for your identification.
I don't have any. Can I ask you a question?
Sure, you can.
Where is this a sidewalk here or no?
No, this is privately owned by the university. So that
is private too?
Yes.
This sidewalk is private?
So before you get into that debate with me, I think the township requires you to have a permit too. Do you have a permit on you?
I don't know of anything about requiring a permit when I'm just standing here holding a sign.
Okay, so the language is that you do have your First Amendment rights.
I'd like to speak to. No, I'd like to have your supervisor come in. I'd like to speak with him. Thank you.
You want to speak to him? Or?
Yeah, of course. I want to get the law, and I want to hear that. Okay. Absolutely. I want to find out where the private property is. I thought this is a public sidewalk. That's why I came here.
Okay, no, this is owned by the university. So.
The sidewalk is owned by the university? Are you sure about that?
I'm 100% sure.
And your name is?
My name is Patrolman Ali, and my badge number is 136.
Perfect, cool.
All right?
Yeah, if you can.
But that's, regardless, you still need a permit even if you're on the sidewalk.
You need a permit for free speech today?
Yes, you do.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So you believe that you need a permit?
I'm not
Have you ever heard of the Constitution?
Oscar 136.
So guys, you need a permit now to actually to be able to stand outside.
That's ridiculous.
Is that, well, it's not ridiculous. He's lying to me, or either that or he's grossly ignorant of the truth. This is a public space. He's telling me it's private property. But we're going to find out. I have his supervisors coming, and we'll find out. This is somebody made a complaint. By the way, what was the complaint? By the way, what was the complaint?
I have it in my system. I didn't read it.
Well, I need to know. Well, you just came to tell me someone's complaining. You're not going to tell me what the complaint was?
This is not the court of law. I'm not going to debate.
This is not a court of law, but he's going to tell me what to do, guys. This is how it works. No, I'm serious, dude. I'm not even joking, guys. This is important for you. This is a joke. These people, they wear costumes. It's nothing but a costume he's wearing. And they think
he wants to speak to a supervisor.
He's nothing to me. I don't know who he is. If I put on a costume, you don't know me, right? And I put on a little costume with a little badge, and I tell you, hey man, you can't stand here with your friends. What are you doing? I got a complaint from somebody.
Honestly, I don't know about all that. All I know is that, like, I don't see why you can't do this. I've never been in the same room. I don't know about him being a clown or like costume.
Well, I don't know what he's
you protecting the university, but like as far as I'm concerned, I don't know why you can't do this. But he'll tell you why, because I'm not an officer.
There is no legitimate reason why. He's grossly misinformed or lying. One or the other.
I think it's a bit disrespectful. That's all it is. That you're calling him a costume. That's a bit disrespectful.
Oh, I have no respect for the police at all. None. Zero. Zilch.
He's thinking he does, but he has no
private property.
Well, I don't give respect to people who don't have any authority over me. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I could be better. I was having a great day today, chatting with a ton of the people here, and now I was just told that I'm on private property.
You are on private property.
Okay. And
Princeton University property.
So the sidewalk is private property?
Do you not know the sidewalk?
Well, I'm asking. Obviously, I thought I was on the sidewalk here.
Yeah, this is ours.
So, okay, so if I move onto the sidewalk, I'm good?
Then you become Princeton.
Perfect. That's all that you need to tell me. So I'll move everything and put it onto the.
But again, you have a permit for it to be.
Well, then let's let Princeton bother me about that, right? That's not really your problem. Okay, cool. So there you go. He misspoke a little bit. I asked him if they own the sidewalk here, and he said that they do.
One thing I will tell you, this is the crosswalk, and you're.
Yeah. I'll move over down here. I'll move it away. That way, I'm not on the crosswalk.
There you go.
I appreciate. Hey, thank you. I think you did a great job. Even though I still think that you don't really realize that you're protecting a corporation. Did you know the United States? Do you know the United States is a corporation?
Nope.
You didn't know that, right?
Could not care less.
What happens if the people who own that corporation are evil and are doing wrong?
Everybody's evil in some way, aren't they?
You got me there. All right, so that's what we have to do. Just give me a couple more minutes, I'll have it done. Have you looked into flat Earth at all?
Nope.
So All right, man. Check out. You see this bottle of water? Here. I want to tell you what you guys believe while you're waiting. So imagine that bottle of water right there.
Yes, please.
Imagine this bottle of water is 2 miles long in length. Okay. All right. Imagine that it's 2 feet in diameter, and that we fill it 1 foot up, halfway. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Is it halfway though? It's like...
Well, let's just imagine it. You know, use it as a visual. So. There's a formula that defines Earth's curvature, 8 inches per mile squared. That will define Earth's 24,000 miles in circumference. That means that over a distance of 2 miles, you believe, as a ball Earth, that there would be 8 inches of a hump of water in that 2 mile long level pond, and that it would taper off on both ends. That's what you have to believe. Which conflicts with everything that we know about with water, always seeking and finding its level, right?
Well, but that's...
Resting bodies of water?
Okay, that's... So you're saying... So what's your point? Okay.
Hang on 1 second. Let me just get these, because I don't want to get in trouble. Get the tyrants.
Wait, so what's your point about water leveling out?
Yeah, like I have it here. Like this is how we know the nature of water. It always seeks and finds its level, resting bodies of water. So.
Sir, my supervisor's on his way. You wanted to speak to him, so.
Oh. All right. You can now have wasted time.
No, he's coming.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, either way. I'm good though, right? I'm off your property, right?
Like I said, supervisor's coming.
So what's really scary, guys, is that I was on the boardwalk this past in Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I was doing what I'm doing right now, videotaping, and it was public property. It is public property.
Yeah.
And I was ticketed for videotaping on the boardwalk. I was given a ticket for $288. Prosecutor prosecuted me. I tried to fight them with using common law tactics, which you guys probably have never heard of. But in long story short, the lower courts are completely corrupt. You guys got to learn this stuff. I know it's hard to believe, but this is the truth. Excuse me?
I'm interested in your thing about the water.
Okay, all right, I'm almost done. Let me just finish one more thing.
So you think there should be a bulge in the bottle, or like?
Well, no, but I'm saying
like a lake, like a large lake.
If this bottle, imagine is 2 miles long right now, and imagine this represents 2 miles. If there should be a bulge of water 8 inches high in the center, given that is the way, and that is what you have to believe and accept, believing that you live on a ball Earth, because that is what. One more second. And you're totally comfortable with that thought process, yeah? Almost done.
Like, I don't know.
So the world's a better place, guys. I just moved my crap from over there to over here, right? The world's a better place, right? Because I was really causing a lot of problems, wasn't I? Seriously, no. I mean, I really was causing so many problems. I can understand why people complained. Makes sense to me.
Okay, so
just drive over it. Drive over it.
Why do you think there isn't a bulge
Why do I think there's...
Excuse me, can you move those?
That's too funny. You can drive over them too, it's okay. You can drive over them, that's fine. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
So guys,
like it didn't exist.
I'm not expecting anybody here to believe that they live on a flat earth right now. What I would like to do is try to get people to get in their minds and question how it is that they came to the conclusion that they did, where
they went out there and they took a picture.
Right.
What's on the other side?
Well, how do we know that there is another side? You know what I mean? That's just another.
Okay, so like another side.
I'm patrolman secure to campus police. You are?
What?
Just personally based
I'm just a cameraman. You can call me.
Cameraman.
Yeah.
Then you understand why we asked you to get a permit to make your statements?
No, I don't.
Because of the vehicle that came by, you had to move your stuff. This way the university can tell you where
I moved it now.
This way the university can tell you where you can set up your protest.
Okay. Okay.
You have a permit to get the permit, then you can say what you need to do. Where you
Well, I'm doing that right now until the officer said, I think I'm off your, I think you don't have any
Not quite,
jurisdiction
because-
right now. This is not your jurisdiction, isn't that correct?
You're interfering with our vehicles. And
I'm not. I'm actually on public property at this point. You're being. I don't believe I am. Those people are standing in the way. You might want to tell them they need a permit to stand there.
They don't have. They're just standing there. We're not saying you can't stand there. What we're saying is if you're going to make a protest, that you do
I'm not protesting
impede.
anything.
Well, make your
I'm not
statements.
protesting.
Well, statements. Make your statements. That
So now I need
it's
a permit to have freedom of speech.
Well, you're not making a
Sure I am.
speech. You've got your literature all over the sidewalk, and people have to walk around your literature. Whereas the university.
Well, this person has their bike. You're going to tell them that they need to move their bike from me?
All I'm trying to do.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. I'll wait for the.
This is why we asked you.
Okay. I appreciate your help, but I don't really need any more. Thank you. So anyhow, let's see. What were we talking about, guys? We were talking about the bulge. Okay. So, oh no, here's where I was. As far as when we learned that we live on a ball, right? We're age 4, we're age 5, we're 6 years old, guys. Right? Isn't that about true? You're in second, third grade, whatever it is. I don't even know. And they got globes everywhere. Now, at that point, are you truly like learning the mechanics of what it takes for water to stick to a...
I still don't know that shit, so you tell me.
Right. So my point is, though, is that we had an authority figure, i.e. a teacher, tell us where it is that we live, and...
I agree, actually, I agree. So like we should be able to figure out like on our own if the earth is flat or round.
Right, but the problem is that, so at age 4 or 5 we learn this stuff, right? And then beyond that, now, you have movies, you have your news people, you have scientists, all as you grow up.
So maybe like we could do like experiments, like us two could do experiments, and like we can come from, we don't know what the shape the earth is.
100%.
So let's figure out what the shape of the earth is.
Right, and I use flat because it's the easiest meme for me to come up with. Look, they're plotting against me right now. It takes 4 police officers now, guys. 4 police officers because of my crime of standing here with a freaking video camera.
One in the gun, but like scenario.
But I know. So it's frightening. So anyway, look, and 2 police cars now. It's crazy. It's like you think I robbed a bank. All right. So anyhow, I'm with you. I'm doing an own experiment. Tell me what you think about this. What I'm doing is have you ever heard of a carpenter's level? Basically, you take tubing and you fill it with water, and you can stretch it across a certain amount of distance. And because water always finds its level, what you'll do is you can then find out a level between 2 points, A and B. Well, rather than using 2 points, I'm going to do it in 3 points, and I'm going to do it across a distance of 2 miles. It's $400 for the tubing, and I'll be buying this stuff in the next week or so. I have a surveyor who's going to be surveying baseline, so we have a point to a baseline point that we know the elevation is correct in all levels, and I could have another surveyor verify his work. I might do that. And lastly, we're going to AutoCAD the results. But what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 points. We're going to take end point and the middle point. And what that should conclusively show is, according to Ball Earth model, there should be, it's either 8 or 16 inches of water bulge in that center.
I think like 16, right? You said it is like 8 inches per mile?
8 inches per mile squared, so 2 miles times 2 is 4 times 8 would be 32 inches. And then, but I don't know, like, would you have that at the middle? Maybe you would. If it is, then it would be 16 inches of expected ball, of a hump of water in the middle of that. And if you want, my channel Zoom Space Truth, and you can stay in touch with me, and I'll let you know when I'm doing this. It'll be in the next
Zoom Space Truth.
Zoom Truth, yeah, on YouTube. And
so describe me. So you're putting the water in the tubing, or what are the tubing is?
Yeah.
On the water,
What I'm going to do is
on the water?
so what you're going to do is have 2 miles of water of the tubing, and then in the middle I'm going to have a tubing go up, and they're all going to go up maybe 5-10 feet, whatever it takes to make it so that way we can tell that the level will compensate for any difference in elevation at any point. So at that point we're going to be looking for that middle. We're going to look to see if that middle tube is going to be have a 16-inch
so you're gonna
additional water.
Lay it like
How
on
do
the
you think
ground.
it turns from day to night if the Earth is flat? Like if it's just one flat plane.
Here you go. Here's
How do we go?
Here's
Like when does the sun go up and when? You're telling me the Earth is flat and the sun goes up.
Because your sun is
That's why we can't.
in a flat Earth. Your sun would be super close to the Earth. Maybe anywhere from 100 miles to.
Burning right now.
Excuse me.
So why aren't we burning?
Well, it would be
right
small.
now?
It would be small too. It would be small. So
believe other
it would be
planets?
small and more localized.
Mars.
Where-
Other planets.
What about has anyone made an expedition to the ice wall?
Look, here's another one, guys.
Searched as you are.
That's fine. 100%. And what I would say to that is that I came from that world, like where I had believed everything that was what I was given, and so I feel like I kind of have a different perspective than you guys in that I have literally openly looked at my beliefs and said, all right, there's an ancient saying that says, in order to learn, you first must pour your cup of tea out. You have to empty your knowledge, right? Let it all go, all your prior beliefs, and then start, like you said, start from the scratch. We don't know.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I actually watched this documentary about flat earthers.
Yep.
Okay, it was like on Netflix.
Yep.
So I thought it was pretty interesting because they come up with their own experiments to try to figure out the shape of the Earth, which is makes sense.
Oh, here they come. Go ahead.
And so what they did is there were these two experiments featured in the documentary. And one, they took this high precision gyroscope. So basically, and according to if the Earth is kind of sphere shaped, then it should rotate, I believe, 15 degrees.
Yeah. I know that was in Behind the Curve documentary where the guy said, that was pretty controversial in that, it wasn't his experiment. He didn't even have any conclusive results himself. And it's just it's even questioned whether or not, look, the drive of shame, they just drove off. I guess they didn't do anything, huh? Look at that. See that? Yep. Good. Yeah, so that's how you handle that situation.
How are you explaining that?
I'm not, because honestly, I didn't have anything to do with it, and I don't know. Should it come to be that an experiment takes place that for me proves that I live on a ball? Heck yeah, man. I won't have to come out here on my free time and go out and be ostracized and be chased by police. Do you guys think I honestly?
Okay.
Well, that's the problem. There's experiments that show that there's no curve. Guys.
There are then.
Okay.
Well, what experiments?
Okay. All right. There's a guy on. All right. So first off, let me just start with this. YouTube is actively demonetizing and censoring videos on YouTube. Anything that's flat Earth related, right? Now think about it logically, guys.
Is YouTube run by the government?
No, just well, of course.
Out of curiosity.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, that's funny.
Come on, brother.
Oh, hold on 1 second. I was just discussing.
Come on. Are there any other words?
Yeah. Okay. So
Basic shape in the universe, brother.
So what was I just saying there?
He has a point there.
I think
Actually, geometry is the key to all, brother.
Okay.
Help you on your journey.
Thank you for your help.
You can all agree with this.
So, yes.
I guess picture.
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Here you go. Okay. So,
Yeah.
where was I at? I forget. So yeah, YouTube, and you say, you know, you laughed at YouTube is a government-run, or Google. Both of them are literally being controlled. Absolutely. If you Google flat Earth, or you search on, or you YouTube search flat Earth.
Wait, but doesn't that? Okay.
You're going to end up finding videos that debunk flat Earth. So my question is seriously, think about this, guys. Flat Earth is the stupidest thing I probably ever heard in my life when I first heard it. I didn't need Google to help me debunk it. I didn't need YouTube. I knew I lived on a spinning ball, right? Why is YouTube and why is Google, why are they actively like hiding videos, deleting channels, shutting down channels, demonetizing, and then pushing in the results on Google? Like if you Google for flat Earth, you're going to end up with the results. I'm telling you, Google it now, and you'll see they give you the Flat Earth Society. Well, every person I know who believes that the Earth might be flat thinks that the Flat Earth Society is like a shill organization, which is basically they promote it, and then what they do is they come out with these outlandish theories so that anybody who goes to investigate flat Earth, they see it on Google number 3 or number 4, they go to the Flat Earth Society, they read it, and they go, what kind of idiot would ever believe that? And now the door is closed to your mind because you just read something absurd, and now you go, oh, these people are idiots. But meanwhile, all of that is literally being controlled. Do I sound paranoid, crazy? Yes, I know I do, man. Because when I first heard this stuff, I was like, these people are nuts. Like, they think the government's involved in this and that, and the next thing I know, my YouTube channel was closed down for 3 months. I couldn't do any live broadcasts because I brought up something.
So you're going to do your experiment, and based off those results, and maybe a couple like other independent ways of trying to measure whether the Earth is flat or round or whatever, measure the shape of the Earth, then you can come to a conclusion on yourself.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Now, just to give you an idea, like like this thing over here, this photo, I have a close-up photo of it. Wherever I put my photos, unless they're all stolen, I don't even know. Maybe they were. This one here is of the Chicago skyline, right? And that's from almost 60 miles across.
Didn't you say that the curvature of the Earth is like 8 inches?
Yeah, per mile squared. So over a distance of 60 miles, you end up with 1,700 feet of expected Earth curvature, right? The tallest building in this photo, that's this one here, is formerly the Sears Tower. That comes in, including its antenna, at like 1,700 feet. You shouldn't be seeing any of these buildings whatsoever, and yet this guy is.
I don't see how you came up with that math. Like, can you explain that to me?
60 miles, so you'd square 60. 60 times.
You might not be able to see wait.
Because if you look up Earth, if you just do Earth curve formula, you'll see, and this is one that's accepted by like ball Earth, scientists who say that.
How far is this?
Excuse me.
No, I don't think you should square 60 miles down. Is my saying. So you're saying for 60 square miles.
No, 60 miles, just distance, just not square. Yeah. And then you square that number.
Okay, so in 1 mile, in the middle there will be a bulge of 8 inches, right?
No, that would give you a line. That would just give you a line.
Yeah.
That would just give you a line. That's why you square it, because then it becomes like a curve formula, I guess.
No, okay, so you're saying, so I think what they're saying is for 1 square mile on the Earth, right? So let's just say.
No, I'm telling you, like literally, like ball Earth people will use this formula, 8 inches per mile squared.
I think your math is wrong.
I know, but now you're telling me that all the scientists who come up with it on the ball Earthers are wrong too.
No, I'm saying
because that's not my formula.
Your equation is wrong. I think you're misinterpreting it. So can you like tell me? So
I've been doing this for like 2 years. I'll be happy if you correct me because I'll be embarrassed, but I am like 99.9% sure I'm using the correct formula here and using it in the correct manner.
Okay. Flat. So it's 8 inches per square mile.
I don't know. You know, the moon is. I saw the red whatever the moon that was, whatever blood moon not too long ago, a couple months ago, and man, I have to tell you that thing looked so spherical to me. It looked like a ball in the sky.
The moon is.
I don't know, man. That's what it looked like.
Okay.
I have no clue. I've never been there. I can only, say what my eyes see.
Well, okay. So can a blind person then not come to any conclusions? Well,
blind person's definitely at a disadvantage, I would say, for sure. They're not going to be able to see this thing.
Wait. I have a question. Okay, I have a question. This is just a thought experiment. So let's say I have like a cardboard box, right? I give you a cardboard box.
Yeah.
It's closed. And there's a metal cube inside, right? And I say there might be a metal cube inside. and you have to figure out whether there's a metal cube inside, but you can't open the box. So you're saying there's no way to prove whether there's a metal cube inside, because you can't see the metal cube.
There's
So,
plenty
for example,
of.
what you could do is one way is you could take a cardboard box, a different cardboard box where you open it, you see how much like it weighs.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Okay.
Okay.
Listen. Wait. Hold on. I just want because listen. The idea here is I think that if like I generally sense like if you truly are looking to challenge your beliefs, then all your questions should be centered towards how does this happen and how does this happen and why this. Like they're kind of pointed questions I get often. I get it. Listen, I'm not just saying you. It's in general. Most people are going to say, well, how does the sun work on that? They're looking to trap me in an argument in order to keep and hold and maintain their current beliefs.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Really fast? Wait. So do you think the other planets in our solar system are flat too, or just the Earth?
Yeah, I saw the moon the other day, the blood moon, and to me it looked like a sphere. It looked like three-dimensional sphere floating in the sky.
That
Crazy.
doesn't say anything about the Earth, though.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But it does make a point. But where it gets like crazy, ludicrous for me, and I don't even like bringing this shit up, but I have to. It's like, the Big Bang, right? The Big Bang.
Does the Big Bang say anything about the shape of the Earth, then?
Well, the Big Bang, what it does is more like takes away. And then by that, what I mean is, if the Big Bang occurs, you don't really need a creator. You don't need a creator for the Big Bang. Now, if the Earth is flat, right? If this is like a billiards table, and all the sky up there above us is all the balls and stuff. Now, I don't know any natural phenomenon that creates this plane on the ground, so now I have this now. So I end up with this creator, and so for me, what I think, and it really, this whacked me out, man, because I did not want to ever. I was anti believing in God for some reason. Maybe I don't know why, but I thought people who believed in God were really not intelligent and that they were not scientific, and at a certain point I had to say, this flat Earth has changed my belief 100%, where I believe this place was created. Now, once I got to the point that it was created, then it made it easier to believe that this could possibly be true. That there could be a sun and a moon that circle above us, right? Which it says in the Bible.
Isn't that kind of circular reasoning, though? So you say
it is. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm uncomfortable with it.
Isn't that that's illogical, though, right?
Well, it's illogical if you don't view if you view the Bible.
Proof.
It's not. I agree.
But it's okay. So I have a question. So let's say we don't know anything, right?
Yep.
We don't know if there's a God.
Yep.
We don't know what the shape of the Earth is.
Yes.
So you're saying if the Earth is flat, then a God must exist because there's no other way to explain the shape of the Earth.
I don't. For me, but I don't know if using "must" is it. But for me, it seems the most plausible explanation.
Probably. If the Earth is flat, then there's probably a God.
Right. Yep.
What?
Therefore, if there's a God, then it's entirely reasonable that the Earth is flat. But that's circular. Your evidence for the Earth being flat is based on.
Well, no, but that's just. Well, no, but it wasn't the only evidence. So going back to YouTube, I started off telling you about the YouTube channel set. There's a guy named D Marble. He took a laser beam, and other people have done it with mirrors. And what they did, he did over a distance of 7 miles. Over a distance of 7 miles, there should be 35 feet of expected Earth curvature.
Here's my thing about that. So you're saying there's 8 inches per square
mile square.
Or per square.
Not per square mile. Per mile squared. So you square the number of miles, and then you multiply that times the 8 inches.
Okay.
And so over a distance, it is. You got to look it up. So over a distance of 7 miles, you do 7 times 7 would be 49. And then you do 49 times 8 inches, and that's going to give you, so 50 times 8 is 400 inches, approximately, divided by 12 is about 35 feet or so of expected curvature.
Okay.
Hey, how are you? Good, man.
David, right?
Yeah, hey, man, you have a good memory. Holy shit.
What can I say?
Sorry, I can't remember your first name.
No, it's all right. Mark.
Mark? Hey, Mark.
8 miles.
For every mile it occurs 8 inches.
You know,
like for every mile it occurs 8 inches.
You know, like when you send the weather map to like a mile square.
Yeah.
Take pictures.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes see the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, I haven't seen any yet.
So last March, actually, I did one of those things for like my school project.
Yeah.
and this is like a GoPro that was on the.
Yeah, was that a fisheye lens? I guarantee it was.
No, it was. I mean,
it has to be.
I see what you mean. Fisheye lens, it can make it curve.
What was it?
Yeah, but I mean, so
well, no, just answer me, please answer.
It was a fisheye
It was,
lens.
okay. I mean, funny that I knew that, huh?
Here's my question. So the
yeah.
I mean, okay, the ancient Greeks, right?
But the problem,
the ancient Greeks, they didn't know the shape of the Earth, right? At first, let's just say, so they were the ones.
I have no idea what they did or didn't know. I can't remember. I can't keep track of all this, but.
So they theorized that the Earth was a sphere.
Okay.
And they tried to calculate like the radius of the Earth, and so they didn't know beforehand what the shape of the Earth was.
Yeah.
But so they had a couple lines of reasoning. One is if you're actually I already took one. Thank you.
Keep going, man. I'm listening.
So if you're let's say you're sailing, right, and on the horizon you see a ship dip below the horizon, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you brought this up.
So there's that, and then I'll just say the other point that they made is if you measure the distances between cities, let's just say just from walking there, you're measuring, you know, they had to travel between cities, they measured the distances, and then the Greeks they did geometry, right? And so that was their thing. So they measured the angle between these cities, and it actually on a normal triangle, on a flat surface, it should add up to 180 degrees.
Right.
But it was actually adding up to more than 180 degrees. So.
Well, I wasn't there. I wasn't there when they did it, so I can't verify that. But I do want to bring up one thing that you brought up. I do want to bring up one thing that you brought up. Okay. And that is that you guys have heard that you can see the curvature of the Earth, right, from ships when they sail over the horizon, and that's showing you the curvature, right? Yep. Okay. So what I find is pretty interesting is that so Neil deGrasse Tyson is on record. You can look up the video.
Don't go after Neil.
Yeah, he's 100,000 feet up. He says when Felix Baumgartner did his Red Bull jump, and he jumped from 100,000 feet or maybe even higher, he says, of course it's going to look flat, he goes, because he was only the equivalent of 10 millimeters above a basketball. And he goes, so you can watch the video. He says, of course it's going to look flat. So now you have to go back and question all those people who are telling you that they see curvature from an airplane at 30,000 feet. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson is directly contradicting.
I can't see.
I don't either. But there's a ton of people who claim they do.
I think that's actually.
What?
Wait, so you're saying because relative to the entire size of the Earth, you're only a very small.
Yeah, you're only yes, exactly, relative.
So
correct. Yeah, that's
saying if you hold a basketball to your face
actually,
10 millimeters.
Yeah.
But also your eyes are longer than that.
Right. No, but I'm just saying. But guys, wait, hold on. So I'm just arguing that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson said, right? But meanwhile, he's also been he contradicts himself a lot. But with that said, what's interesting is that there are also plenty of videos that are 100,000 feet in the air that you see, and if they're a fisheye lens, when it goes above the horizon, it will go convex, and then when it goes below, it goes concave, or whatever the opposite, or concave. Okay. So what you'll see is that, and then when it's right level with the surface, you see a perfectly straight, flat horizon. Now, it's there. I mean, and it's hard to dispute. Now, the funny thing to me is that this is 100. Now, this is my point. That balloon is 20 miles up in the sky, and it can't. And I don't think it's showing any curve when it's level with the horizon. And yet, you can stand on a beach and look only 3 miles, and in 3 miles you can see so much curvature that you can see a boat.
I think you're misunderstanding.
Go ahead.
I think you're misunderstanding my point. My point is, if I'm on the beach, honestly the Earth looks flat to me. The Earth totally looks flat to me. But if you see a ship sail over the horizon, where did that ship go then? That's my question. Either the Earth is
I have an answer possible.
And it fell off the Earth, or maybe it sailed off the ice wall.
Has any of you guys taken art classes? Do you know about perspective? If you everything converges to a single point in our eyes. It's all converging. So from above, below, everywhere. And there's a vanishing point where we cannot see beyond a certain distance, right? So when you do that, you are literally, and then what happens also is that over a distance of the ocean, what you end up having is that the ocean plays a mirage, a mirage trick. And what that mirage does is you think that you're seeing the boat disappear, but really what is taking place is that a mirage is taking place where the water is blocking a certain portion of the of that ship. Oh no! Listen, you have to watch the videos on this.
The same thing.
Excuse me.
We're saying the same thing.
No,
the water is blocking.
No. But what I'm saying is it's not water. It looks like the water is blocking it.
So why
but it's a mirage. It's actually a mirage.
Why does this happen every day?
What?
That's my question. It seems like it should be a rare occurrence. That could totally happen. I totally agree. but it seems like that would be a pretty rare occurrence that a mirage would happen right when the ship is sailing.
Yeah, I agree with you. That would, but I don't mean
why would that happen? It seems
there are days when you can see further. There are days when you can see further, and the interesting thing is, guys, the really interesting thing is that check this out. They have multiple videos. You can watch this where a ship quote sailed over the horizon. You'll like in the video camera, you don't see anything. You see nothing on the horizon. The guy starts to zoom in, and what do you know? Now you see a ship. So
then there are many more videos where they do the same thing, except it's still below the horizon.
Right. Yeah, there are. No, I agree with you. But then again, now you're talking though. Again, you could be dealing with a perspective issue because remember those waves, that ocean isn't just perfectly flat, and there's waves, and as you go further and further, those waves are going to be taking in a larger account of the frame of the camera. They're just going to have to.
Here's my point.
So I want him to do his own experiment.
Yeah. I need
Wait, the Chicago skyline is a mirage. Well, the problem is that this is on the opposite side of the ball. I'm not saying the water. This is like literally if you run a basketball, right? If you're looking at a basketball, right?
Yeah.
You're on where the tips of my finger are. The city is beyond my on my hand, going down below the curve.
Buildings are.
Ask it.
Yeah, so
maybe the base of the
radius of the Earth.
Well, technically there should be 1,700 feet of expected curvature. That's how much curve there should have been over this distance. 1,700 feet.
I'm already.
You guys know what time it is?
It is 3:25.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so here's my proposal.
Yeah.
You want to, and I think it's a good idea, is you don't know what the shape of, let's say you don't,
I really don't.
If we want to prove what shape the Earth is, we have to
I don't think it's a ball
anymore. We have to come from
anymore.
an unbiased perspective.
Okay, yeah.
We forget everything, we forget like everything we know.
Sure, I like that.
And we want to just through experimentation prove the Earth is what the shape is.
Or at least deduce from it what it could be, or could not be.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is, let's just say hypothetically, I theorize the Earth is actually like a bowl shape, right? Then every experiment I do, and let's say like I have one experiment that like shows it might be a bowl shape. Then what I should do then is perform independent experiments to try to confirm this bowl shape Earth.
Okay.
And if one of them disagrees, and I can reproduce them that disagrees, then it's not.
I hope you join me on it, man, because you sound like you. I'm not highly confident in my experimental skills, so I would love to have somebody who's, it's.
Can you look at JP? Can you do like a JP on that?
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool because I'm fine. I will come out here. I will come out here and publicly state that everything I found confirms that I was wrong. I have no problem with that. I'm comfortable 100% in doing that. And I would hope that if the results came in favor of the Earth not being a ball, though, that you'd come out here with me and say, like, you know what? There's something weird going on here. Should the results of the experiment prove something other than what you probably at some level are going to expect, right? I mean, I can't lose my current expectation, but or my current belief, but I will lose it when the results come in. I mean, See, my problem is that I've seen these laser experiments over the long distances, and did you see? And the mirror one, another guy did a mirror test, and it's like so many people have done these now in so many different areas, and I'm like, yeah, I guess they could be lying. I mean, they could be liars. But the fact them messing up the experiment seems very unlikely at this point. Like, I mean, that's a basic rudimentary. They go on Google, they check out they find the distance from one shoreline to another, and they shoot it. And I mean, but the problem is that you end up with refraction arguments. They say that the light is refracting and bending to the curve of the Earth. So you have these arguments, and I was thinking the water experiment could eliminate the refraction.
But one thing you'd have to do is you'd have to come up with calculations for exactly how much the light would be bent, because the light is bent by the Earth. That is, like, even according to people who, according to scientists, like the sun bends light like around it. And
that's why the surveyor. That's why the surveyor will have the surveyor there.
Gravity bends light according to Einstein.
Yeah.
And so, but you'd have to come up with, you'd have to you'd have to, before you do your experiment, what I'd suggest is you come up with a number for how much, you come up with a numerical, like, yeah, with a number for how much the light should be bent, and you'd have to see, is that a reason why, if your numbers aren't what they think you are, what they think they are, or if they are what they think.
Are you gonna help me? You want to get involved?
Is you should come up with. I mean, okay, I don't know if I have time to help.
Oh, yeah, I would say not even help so much as offer some insight when I set this thing up. I can tell you the parameters of what I'm going to be doing, and I would love to have this extra scrutiny. I mean, I don't want to take it to the level of
just like looking.
Yeah.
Look over your.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I know you're probably busy as heck, man. I'm not so busy, so I have time to do this stuff and play with it. But
So are you planning an experiment?
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea.
So could you describe it for me?
Yeah, I'll give it to you 1 second. Here, can I shoot you my number, or how do I?
Yeah, you can just give me your number. Or like email.
Where's my freaking phone? Here it is. Oh yeah, let me give you my email.
Yeah.
It's you could use, I'm gonna give you my David at Ephesians Day. EPHESIANS Day. David at Ephesians Day.
You can also find his YouTube channel.
Yep, and my YouTube channel is Zoom Space Truth. Yep.
So, I just have one question on the experimental side. So, there was a group of flat earthers who went out and bought like this super expensive gyroscope, and it came back showing that the Earth is tilted at 15 degrees. And they said that the experiment was faulty because it didn't agree with their flat Earth.
Right.
Did you watch the
watched parts.
Yeah, the problem is guys, listen, seriously, that like. If you're in the flat Earth community, like 99.9% of the people in the flat Earth community, like you get misrepresented and they're hit pieces. I had a guy come out and interview me on the street here, and he was in the Princeton paper. You could look it up. It was in the Princeton whatever packet, not like the local college paper here, like whatever it was. And basically he might as well not talk to me. I brought up the Bible at one point, and the next thing you know, it's like a whole thing on how the whole reason I believe the Earth is flat is because of the Bible, which is like so not true. I didn't even come upon the Bible stuff until I'd already seen lots of other physical evidence. Yeah. So I had a hard time even going that route. So I was like really disappointed. So the movie Behind the Curve, honestly, dude, that was portrays people who believe in flat Earth. This is how they put it. You know, oh, these poor people, they've been, you know, they've always been outcast their entire lives. You can tell, you can hear by the way they talk that they never felt comfortable. Blah 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 blah. Well, all they have to do is plant that seed in people's heads, and then people go, oh, that's the reason why they believe what they do. And it cuts you off from further investigation, because really, not very small percentage of people who hear this are going to look into it.
Okay, so I have no idea why some people believe in flat Earth. Maybe I have no idea. That's just like what they believe. So my thing is that on that documentary they showed flat earthers doing experiments to try to determine the shape of the Earth. And neither of these experiments, they're both independent methods of finding the curvature of the Earth, or if there's no curvature of the Earth.
Right.
And they both experiments agreed with the theory that the Earth is like a spheroid.
Right.
And so what that suggests, now maybe there are experimental flaws.
Well, there are, but I mean, but aren't we discounting the experiments where the people use a laser beam, or where they use a mirror and they've tested it over a lake, or even, you know, to say that this is a mirage 100%, I think is a pretty hardcore thing for people to say without doing, you know, testing it themselves and looking into themselves. Just as I don't use this as a singular piece of evidence that the Earth is flat. Like, you know, again, the reason why I bring all the other information out on the Holocaust, on the Boston bombings, on the crisis actors, and all that other crazy stuff is that I don't think I would come to the conclusion that the Earth is flat if I didn't see all the other lies. If I didn't see what I see in so many different areas, if I don't see the government in wars, guys, the government, we're in wars in Afghanistan right now. People are dying. A couple soldiers died the other day. Think about this.
Wait, so the soldiers are dying, but the people in the Boston Marathon bombing didn't die? Is that what you're saying? Why do you believe them dying?
Well, you know, honestly, I'm going off of what they say on that, and I can't prove it, and I haven't investigated, and I do question whether or not that actually is true. True or not. I did have a friend who went to who supposedly went to Iraq when I graduated high school, and I wasn't questioning anything at that point. But from what I know, he went there, he was involved in the war, and it seemed like it happened. Now, there's a big difference between that and what takes place on Boston bombing and things. That stuff is shown on the mainstream media as it happens. It has tremendous shock value when you're watching it, and usually upon the back of these events, you're going to hear a massive increase in chatter about gun rights, what gun confiscation, who should have guns, what laws, why they need to be changed. So there's an agenda that takes place immediately after these shootings. If you look at New Zealand, do you know that in New Zealand, that last shooting, they have made it that if you get caught sharing the videotape, you're facing 14 years in prison for sharing that videotape.
Doesn't that incite then further violence? So for example,
all I know is that to me, freedom of speech, I'd take my chances with freedom of speech over someone deciding for me what I'm cannot say any day of the week.
So
that's scary.
But there are actually restrictions on freedom of speech. So for example,
there are?
Yeah, you can't scream fire in a movie theater, because that actually can cause people to get hurt.
Right.
You can't.
So you're telling me that watching
also,
a video
New Zealand
is equivalent to shouting fire?
First of all, New Zealand is not the U.S.
Right.
So the freedom of speech in the U.S. doesn't
that would never happen in the U.S.
Are you kidding me?
And also,
it's gonna happen, man. We're headed there.
I believe it was.
It is happening.
Alex Jones.
So it is happening. YouTube is actively censoring right now. So think about this. What is the primary means that I can communicate to people right now if I want to get my voice heard and not be censored? Right? It would be YouTube. But unfortunately, when I put out a video and if I bring up, oh, by the way, this video talking about New Zealand, and I'll call it a hoax right now, watch. Go visit my channel, and within 2 to 3 weeks, this video will be taken down. It's just the way it happens.
I've watched all of your videos.
Oh, really? Because have you watched the 2 where I brought up the Holocaust in Princeton?
I've seen those.
Yeah. Did you notice that they come with warnings that they don't actively promote those videos or anything?
Well,
that's a form of censorship.
Okay, reasonable.
Also, YouTube's
why does someone have to actively support your video?
Choose to censor
Unfortunately, though, they've decided that it's like a town square because so many people use it that it's treated as a public space now. Now they actually don't lawfully follow that, but it's like certain places they even if it's a private place are so visited by the public that they open them up and they consider by law. And Twitter and I think YouTube are 2 of those places that it was considered, and yet it seems like it gets ignored. You can look up Town Hall.
Where there's government laws regulating YouTube.
Yeah. Where they came up and they said that YouTube. I'm like. I have to go back and look into it. I know I've read about it and heard about that. But the point is, and because I'm more for hey, if a place is private, then they should be able to do whatever they want. I like that. I think that's important. But again, with YouTube really has morphed from a private space, I think, to a public, a place of public discord. I don't know. But anyhow, you say the United States would never do it. Well, YouTube right now is about the easiest way you can get your voice heard, and you will be censored if you speak the wrong words on YouTube now. 100% you will.
Attention. I'm just getting his attention. So my question: so you think a video of live videos of mass shooting would not inspire people to do that violence? So I've for example, I believe it's Alex Jones.
How many people here have watched the New Zealand shooting? I have. Anybody here seen it? I watched the video.
It got taken down, so.
Okay, well, if you want to find it, you can find it on my Steam It blog on Zoom True Steam It. I put up a couple links. One of them is dead now, but I have another one. The other one is still open. On it, there are so many anomalies in that shooting, guys. The guy shoots a shotgun 3 times through his front window of his car. There's not a single hole. They didn't put any hole in the windshield. From a shotgun shell, 3 times, 3 shotgun shots. Well, whoever made the video, I mean, honestly, you can't explain it. I watched the video. So that was the first thing I was like, wait a second. In another part of the video, he's spraying out rounds on the sidewalk and the bullets are disappearing. You don't see, they disappear.
I have a question. Why can't you see the bottoms of the buildings?
Yeah. Why can't you? You know what? That would be a perspective. I believe that would be a perspective issue. But no, you're not going to see the bottoms of the building.
To a point.
Excuse me?
According to your perspective issue, they should converge to a point.
Well, yeah.
You can't see the bottoms of the buildings. On a flat Earth, you should be able to see the.
if you were to do that, if you were if you were to go like another 30 or 4 whatever the miles out would be, yeah, they're going to converge to a single point. But as you're going further and further away, what I found,
the width, you can see like the width.
Right.
The problem is the buildings. Like you can't see you're only seeing the tops of the buildings. That's why.
And the funny thing is that width. How many miles do you think that is across? I don't know. But if it's 10, 20 miles, I don't know.
It doesn't appear like. It doesn't
5.
The width
Who knows?
It doesn't seem to be converging to a point. That's like.
It doesn't seem to be bending either, though, right?
The Earth?
Well, does this look like a flat horizon to you? It looks flat, right?
It's not the horizon. The horizon's such a small segment of the Earth.
The horizon should look flat because, like, I mean, the Earth is like that horizon looks flat to me.
Well,
that's not my point. I'm saying
it depends on how far of a horizon we're looking across.
So how long do you think a horizon is? Like
I don't know. I don't even want to say 5 miles. It's not far enough. Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you.
Here's my question.
I agree.
Okay, let's just take like a neutral, like unbiased, like perspective looking at this picture. Okay, so let's say we don't know what the shape of the Earth is, right? Okay, because like if we're gonna prove something, we want to try to like eliminate.
Yeah, listen. That's why I'm gonna listen. Get in touch with me on the experiment.
Here's my thing about this picture. So like, let's say we don't know what the shape of the Earth is. We don't like have this formula or anything.
Yep.
So we look at this horizon, and we can see the horizon looks flat. So maybe that suggests the Earth is flat, or it could be we're on some giant sphere where it'll appear flat, or some other, it could be like...
Yeah, man, the Earth could be a lot bigger than we thought it was.
Yeah.
And that makes, I hear you.
So my point is, if the Earth is flat, so let's say we theorize the Earth is flat, okay? Let's say I come up with a theory where the Earth is flat, then I should be able to see the bottoms of these buildings if there's no bulge in the water.
I don't think that's
because
true.
Of the curvature.
I don't think that's true.
Why would
because
that not
again,
be true?
if you look at how perspective works, you're dealing with the water that's closest to you as you look out over the water.
But you're saying it converges to a point.
Right.
The water would
but what I'm saying, but the problem is like over land, you don't have. You know how like if you look on a hot sidewalk and you see that mirage on a hot day and it's all wavy, like it seems like over water, that gets amplified, that effect frequently, and you end up with this murky zone where you don't really know what it is that you're seeing. You can't really trust what it is, and it creates, I think, like a wall that's going to not allow you. There are people who have done videos where you shouldn't be able to see the shoreline, and they zoom in and you're seeing the shoreline.
So you're saying the mirage comes from the heat?
No, I think it's the water. It's a combination of the water, the change in temperature between the water. That area above the water causes a lot of problems.
So if they took the same picture in the winter, there wouldn't be that kind of.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's the case. You have less of a problem.
Yeah. This is actually good progress. So now what we said is we have like two theories here. The Earth is flat, and this seeming bulge in the Earth is actually it's caused by like the perspective, maybe caused by like heat waves creating a mirage effect. So that's one theory. The other theory we have, which we don't know which either one is true. The other theory is that this bulge, we're not seeing the bottoms of the buildings because there's actually a bulge due to the curvature. There's like a hill essentially due to the curvature of the Earth. And so now we might say. So now we might say.
Before we continue,
there's like simple experiments.
Listen,
on the round Earth, you land one side of it.
I almost want to go backwards, like. Remember we were talking about the NASA and the space and going to the moon landing?
I don't think I was here.
Oh, you weren't here? All right.
Can we before we change the topic, because this involves like your experiment.
Yeah.
So now what we might say is, okay, so what he brought up is we could reproduce this experiment in the winter. According to the theory so we have three theories, let's say.
But it's just, the only thing is that for me, I'm trying to, for me right now, what I want to do is with the experiment with mine, I'm really not going to be worried too much about refraction at that point because again, I'm going to have the surveyor who's going to be serving it off at 600-foot intervals where at that they're rated for that so that like they're literally like the amount of refraction that's going to be taking place is I guess at that point almost negligible. But I don't know that for a fact, but that's what it sounds like he was saying. That's what they're rated for. And it's funny because there are a number of videos where surveyors proving the Earth is not flat. They show out and they'll survey out 20 miles. And he goes, all those guys are dishonest who are doing that. He goes, because this equipment isn't rated for 20 miles, it's rated for in the feet. And he says, so why would a surveyor who knows that this stuff isn't rated, why would they put out a video and promote that on YouTube, right? That's dishonesty.
Yeah, it seems like they have an experimental flaw.
Either that or they have an agenda.
Well, okay, but they could also just
or they might be trying to prove their own beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. See, they have this. That's my point. They have this like biased perspective, and so that's interfering with their experiment. Their experiment is flawed because they haven't considered these flaws because they assume what the Earth is. So here, going back to our experiment, so let's say our theory is okay, the Earth is flat, and there's this mirage. There's this mirage obstructing the building.
Yeah.
So now we can test it in the winter and see this. According to our theory, the mirage shouldn't be there. So now we could see the bottoms. We could see the bottoms of the building. Right?
I did.
Now, let's consider. He was in Living with AI last semester actually.
I love that class.
So our other theory was the perspective, right? So here's where the mirage. Okay, I see where you're coming from. The perspective, I kind of disagree because according to the perspective, it's converging at a point. But here we more see the heights are being lowered with the width.
Well, you're seeing there's definitely distortion. Like the building does not look like this. There is. I'm not going to acknowledge that there is distortion taking place.
The tops of the buildings.
But
so I really thought it had
But hang on, I want to keep everyone. I just want to throw out.
Okay, yeah. Throw out an idea.
Because guys, like I don't know who here, if you're aware of this, and I guess maybe you weren't here, but NASA own Don Pettit. He's one of the fake astronauts, and he is literally on video saying practically word for word he goes, I would go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we can't. He goes, we lost that we destroyed that technology, and it's too painful a process.
Is space travel possible? Like, is it possible to visit Mars?
Well, is there a dome over there? Like the dome thing?
I don't know for sure, but
if you guys have the capabilities, like SpaceX's resources, is it possible to leave the Earth?
Well, let me ask you guys. Has anyone experimented using rockets in a total vacuum and seen what happens? No, it seems. Excuse me. Well, because that's what they use, right? They use rocket and they use rocket propulsion to propel themselves in what is a complete vacuum. So then I think some people have done experiments on YouTube where they showed that I guess they did have a problem igniting the source.
Well, I think
isn't the rocket inside?
Yeah, the oxygen is inside. But then the question then becomes what is that? What is that pushing off of? If there's nothing.
Do you know the rocket?
You got this one.
What?
Momentum. Have you heard of that? The conservation of momentum.
Sure. I'm not sure I totally understand it, but
so
I've certainly heard it.
There's this quantity. It's mass times velocity, right?
But hold on, I don't want to get before we go into that. I don't want to get into the water deeper than I can.
Let's say, assuming there was some way to propulse yourself in a vacuum in space, is interplanetary travel possible?
From me right now, I don't think. I think that's all. I think they're faking it. I really do. I think they're faking space up there. I don't think these rockets. I think they go up there and then where they end up landing, we don't see it.
So are there other planets though?
Are there other planets?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's something's up there. Whether or not they're three-dimensional, hard objects that we can touch, see, and feel. I don't know. I've never been there.
Do you believe the moon is round or flat?
With the moon.
I saw that last blood moon or whatever it was, a wolf moon. And I have P900, so I zoomed in on that, and I'm telling you, that thing. It looked like a sphere to me. It really did.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you explain this photo right here?
Yeah, that's like one of the models that is fairly popular among flat Earth people, and it kind of goes back to the Bible, where the Bible talks about. I don't know if any of you guys believe in God or not, or Christian or anything like that, but in the Bible it talks about a firmament over our heads, and so there's a lot of people who think that so there's a giant ice wall that's containing the water, our water. And that this is how the sun and the moon would go around above us.
I just have a question. So in this model, would this assuming that the sun is a sphere?
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
Okay.
Oh no, actually, I mean, some people say it might be a spotlight. Other people say, who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody really knows.
Okay. Well, in this model, in the model has the sun as a sphere. Would you argue that? Because it looks like a sphere to me.
Yep.
So the way that the sun works, it has all its rays coming out.
Yep.
So I'm very confused about why there would be a sharp cutoff around there.
Right.
And this is kind of a dark area right here. Because if the sun was round, it has like rays.
Well, it's small. It would be smaller, and it would be smaller and more local. So if you think about like if you're on a giant football field and you have like a light bulb and you
but this isn't a light bulb.
Well, I'm just using the analogy. If you're on a big football field and you light up a light bulb on the one side of it, are you going to see the light on the other side?
No, I understand that, but it does.
Yeah. So do you think it's like a directed light source then?
I don't know, guys. I don't know. Okay. I honestly, that's why. Honestly, the thing for me is that really is there's so many things, but water for me. I mean, look, guys. Here it is. This is what I was telling people earlier. Just check this out. So this bottle, right?
You don't have influence over. There's one way the universe works, right?
Hang on. I just want to mention this, guys. This bottle, right? Imagine this is a tube that's, let's say, 24 inches in diameter, and it's 2 miles long.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, yep. So my point is that if that was the case, what you believe is that in the center of this tube, believing that you live on a ball, that the water would be there would be a hump of water 8 or 16 inches higher in the center, resting. So it would be resting water, and it would literally, over the course of that 2 miles, have a curve and a hump in it.
See, the only thing about that is that's assuming that the Earth is flat. See, if the Earth is round,
no, if
then
it's
it
round,
wouldn't actually be. It wouldn't
if it's round, there's a hump, right?
Well, no, it doesn't really matter. I can make a round ball underneath this, simulating the curvature of the Earth for that. It's not going to affect what's above. Water doesn't conform to what's below it.
Well, the only reason
does
it
it?
conforms is because of gravity.
Well, that's but now you got to prove relativity and gravity for me, and I'll be comfortable with your statement.
Okay, so your point is water always goes to the lowest source.
That's only in gravity.
Right, so water always goes to like
no.
You're saying water always goes to the lowest point, right?
Well, I know, but guys, but the thing is so funny is that there's plenty of physicists who have a problem with general relativity. There's like people who believe in string theory and all this other crap that goes against.
There are problems with general relativity.
Yeah.
That is true. But the problems, general relativity, it explains perfectly.
So
all of like our observations. Yeah, like black holes, there are issues, and like at the quantum level, they have at like the atomic.
Let me ask you though. Let's go back to this real simple thing here. Look at this, guys. This is resting water, and it's simulating 2 miles long.
Yeah.
You can seriously conceive in your mind, and it seems perfectly reasonable that there would be a hump of water that in this that's resting. Think about that. We don't ever experience water in that manner. We just don't.
We don't experience it because we're at this level where we're so close to the surface it appears flat. So my question is, these are your experience.
You don't know that there's not an infinitesimally small hump in it.
Oh, yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with you there.
So then you scale it up. How do solar eclipses work? Like, what is that?
Yeah, they actually don't work that well even on the ball Earth model. There's sometimes when they occur that the shadow doesn't work properly. But as far as explaining it, no, I don't think I'm capable of. I don't think I understand it well enough, and I'm not even sure that someone has built a flat Earth model that explains that well. I can.
So you think it just spins, right?
Excuse me? No. That's a flat. See, that's part of the Flat Earth Society. It's talking about because Flat Earth Society says that we're spinning and that's what's causing the gravity, which is like, bro, nobody thinks that in Flat Earth. Yeah. There's a few other things that are interesting that people gloss over. Because remember, we're spinning at 1,040 miles an hour. Okay, at the equator, right this moment. We're circling the sun at, they say, 66,600 miles an hour. And what's interesting though with that is that we're not even circling it. They say it's an elliptical manner that we go. Okay, so in an elliptical manner, can I ask you, in an elliptical manner though, wouldn't you expect there to be an acceleration and deceleration of your course of, if you're traveling in an ellipse?
You're saying it would like close to the sun, it would be going a lot faster than like far.
I would think wherever it is that where it gets tighter.
Exactly.
So, but what I always hear is everybody says, well, you don't feel a change in motion. Well, that to me tells me there would be a change in motion.
I have a question, but you're also on the Earth, right? So I have a question. If you're, let's say you're on a,
assuming we are, yeah.
Okay, let's say you're on a train, right? Let's say you're on a train, right?
Yeah.
And it's going at like a constant speed.
Yeah.
And let's say
is it turning?
No, it's not. It's not turning.
Oh, because we're turning.
It's just going at a constant. Okay, here's my point. It's just going at a constant speed, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you're like playing pool. Okay, and there are no windows or anything. But you don't know what speed the train is going at.
Well, I don't know the speed, but if they're turning, I know, like if you're in a car and you're in a constant turn, you're being pushed against the edge of the car.
Exactly, but let's say you're turning very, very slightly, right? That force is going to be extremely small, right? But if we're turning slightly enough, you won't be able to tell that. Okay, and that's the point about the Earth is.
Well, I do know one reason you would. They've done where they sit guys on a merry-go-round and they try to play catch with one another and they throw the ball while they're on the merry-go-round, and the ball ends up going and it looks like it's curving, right?
That's such a different scale, though.
Yeah, that's
consider this.
66,000 miles an hour is quite a speed, isn't it? That's
but considering
50 times the speed of a speeding bullet.
Everything on the Earth is
away
moving
from
with that.
Excuse me?
The angular speed is a lot smaller.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not, but
we're going like 360 degrees in like 24 hours.
These are just things. Honestly, they're not. These are not things that I base like where I lost my belief that I lived on a ball. I think mostly was the action of water, and then upon seeing NASA, the lies of NASA, guys, when NASA gets busted, like they've given space tours of NASA and they show the toilet that they use with a suction cup on it, and there's like 6 people in that place, and there was one freaking toilet that they have to like shit into, and then you're gonna tell me they're gonna spend months at a time sharing that nasty freaking thing? Guys, like and the other thing is that when you're trying to sell something,
it costs a ton.
wait, when you're trying to sell something, right, as a salesperson, you're always like, oh, be smiling, be positive, right? Watch the NASA videos. Every single video, they come on and what are they doing? The women have their hair stuck up like they're trolls, right? Like it's in a perm, and it doesn't move. They go upside down. It stays up. It always stays up, and they always have a ridiculous smile. There's a really good one. If there's one video you watch on NASA that to me blows my mind, it shows them to be frauds that they are. It's the guy. If you look up NASA harness ISS, right, and in it the guy does a flip, right. And when he does his flip, right at the end, he gets like a little bit out of control, and his buddy reaches over with his 2 fingers like this, and he reaches over next to him, and he hooks his finger, but he doesn't grab the guy, he hooks his finger, and he pulls. And you see the astronaut who just come out of the flip, you can see his body pull over, and not only that, but when he gets the weight of the guy on him, he gets pulled over too. So what is he tugging on? Guys, like, there's like,
Wait, can you just, so he's pulling on an astronaut?
No, he's pulling on nothing. Like he literally,
on his pocket. Let me show. That video.
Are you saying there's like
pulling on his pocket?
No, there is no.
Dude, like I read something on YouTube, dude. That's totally believe it.
Fair enough.
Like, also consider like the flag. How would it wave, dude? Think about it like that. Think about it. Actually, think critically though. Think critically. They never went up in space. The toilet? Come on, anytime I actually talk about this, like people think that like it's a joke or something, but like I don't know.
I'm not saying the toilet proves anything except that
I took Geo last semester. I passed, but I passed through lies. Climate change is a fucking hoax. Quote me.
So everybody here is a strong believer in climate change, huh?
It's pretty
I
temperate.
Are we even on Earth?
I don't know.
That's funny. It's good. It's good to be so sure in your beliefs. I'll tell you, there is a principle which will keep man in everlasting ignorance, and that principle is condemnation before investigation. So good for her, or him, or whatever that was. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you to tell you the truth. I'm not really sure. He or she, or he, she, maybe. Yeah, no, that's what takes place. Lots of mockery. I'm fine with that. And again, I could be 100% wrong. Why do you think I plan on doing an experiment? Certainly not to because I know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah, can you describe that again? So I sorry, I was a little unclear. So what's the point of why do you have a tube?
It's a water. Basically, it's a water level. It's like this. You see how this works? So imagine this tube being 2 miles long. I expect water to act exactly as it is in this case over that 2 miles. It's going to be perfectly level because that's how water is. It always finds and seeks its level.
But the thing is, okay, so but the tube is going to be straight, right?
My tube is. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as it covers a distance of 2 miles and extends up far enough.
It has to be on the ground for like the 2 miles, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's okay.
Well, it doesn't really, none of it matters as long as we determine a point to measure from that's a starting point, a baseline, I think is what the surveyor calls it, that shows that it's level from end to end, meaning it's a perfectly horizontal line. I'll be measuring up from that, and we'll be looking to see how high the water rises in each one. The biggest thing I've heard so far is that I gotta get the bubbles out. I gotta make sure that there's no bubbles in the water, and that the temperature of the water has to be remain the same throughout, because the density of the water then changes.
But then, like either way, your experiment's flawed. Like even if say the Earth is flat, that'll work. But even if the Earth is round, that means that your distance that you're measuring from the ground will still be that constant distance, right? Because
well, that's an argument I got. That's one argument that a lot of people will say, is that it's going to be level to the ball. It's level to the ball. So that really bothers me, because now you're telling me that there's no such thing as making a level surface for 2 miles, which to me is stupidity. Of course you can make a level.
But it's super hard to make something structural.
Yeah, but there's a difference between super hard and not being able to do it.
But according to
that's why you have a surveyor who's going to be surveying 0.600 feet.
One of those like devices that measures the levelness that's based on gravity. Yeah, and that's.
Guys, if you make a straight line, right? If you have a right angle to something, is that based off of gravity? So all you got to do is make right angles to right angles to right angles.
If you put a piece of metal, just like
they triangle. That's what they.
Vertical line, but then you're placing two vertical lines on. Like,
aren't you connecting those lines? So you're gonna have to see it. So you're telling me. So again, this is so interesting. So what you're telling me is that it's impossible to make a straight level line for 2 miles.
Yes.
Yeah. According.
I think
that's hysterical. I mean, that's hysterical that you guys will stand here and tell me that you don't believe that we have the technology today to make a level plane for 2 miles.
I mean, do you use a laser?
No, not relative to shit. A straight fucking level line. This is what you're telling me.
If you did light.
I mean, I just can't believe that people are telling me this in this day and age. This is blowing my mind.
How would you test that it's straight?
Yeah, that's my question. Yeah.
You could use your eyes and say, yeah, that's straight. But
right.
Okay. Okay, no. So we're not denying that you can make a straight line.
I think you are.
No, we're denying the way that you're making that straight line is flawed.
Listen, this is why I didn't do this experiment like 2 years ago. It was because so many ball earthers were telling me, you're just going to be making it level to the ball. Level to the ball. That's what they're fucking telling me. That's fucking insane. Do you understand why this is frustrating me, or do you think I'm absolutely batshit crazy?
No, but what you need to do.
Because what we're discussing now is that we don't have the technology to make a flat, level, perfectly level surface for a whopping 2 miles.
We do.
Are you sure?
Yes, we do.
I think some people might here disagree with you.
The technology you're going to use is probably going to be flawed.
Yeah. What you need to do, to prove the Earth is flat, here's what you need to do. You need to come up with an experiment that you and people who believe in
all I'm doing right now is doing this for me. At this point, if people don't want to accept it, I'm fine with that. I get it. But the guy who there's a guy, his channel's Maximillionaire, and he thinks the Earth is a ball, and we had the same argument, because I was literally telling him, I said to him, I said to him, the problem is with this experiment, all the ball earthers are going to tell you that it's going to be a level only to the ball and it's not going to prove anything. And he goes, well, they're full of shit. He goes, they're lying. He goes, they're being deceitful. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing.
I'm not lying.
No, I hear you. I hear you. But but I've heard. Believe me, I'm well aware that this is the argument. But it blows. Do you understand why it blows my mind a little bit to hear Princeton, like, pretty much, you guys are the smartest of the smart here, and you're telling me that we can't make a level.
No, we're not telling you that. We're not telling you that. We're telling you that people who make like the International Space Station and stuff can make level lines because that's not relative to the Earth. But the methods you're gonna use are gonna be relative to the Earth. That's what we're telling you.
If you use only right angles. If you were to only use right angles.
But what are you using?
I'm just asking, if you were to only use right angles, would it be possible to construct something?
Yes, but what are you using that right angle
You're using a vertical line, right?
That right angle is relative to something.
Yeah.
Right?
Relative to the line that you just created prior to it. So you make every right angle.
Well, what's your first
every right angle you extend from your initial base.
What is your first line? Is it a vertical line? Isn't that what you said?
Sure. I guess so. Right. Yeah. So is that where you're flawed? Is that where it's flawed? Yeah.
Yeah. Because so if it's vertical here, and if it's vertical 2 miles away, right?
If you're vertical and you're vertical to one another, you're going to be vertical and vertical to one another.
Yeah,
right. Like a goalpost.
Like
a goalpost.
Right.
If you can do that 2 miles away.
That's already having a circular argument because you're saying that the Earth is flat and that's why those.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Hold on. You tell me where I'm wrong. If let's say you take the NFL, the guys who built the goalpost for the NFL, right? Because they look like they're pretty. They could do a good job making them up and down and vertical cross.
No, that's not 2 miles long.
So, right. But what I'm saying theoretically, 200 feet. So they build whatever's required to get 10,000 feet. What is that? 50 or 500 of them, however many you need. Would that technically, theoretically, build you a flat and level plane, irrespective of any gravity or not? No. I'm asking.
No, I don't believe it would be curved with the curvature of the Earth. But that is.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah.
Is that crazy? Does that seem crazy to you or no?
Okay, David. I've spent a lot of time watching your videos and watching other flat Earth videos, and I've come to the conclusion that the Earth is pretty round.
Okay,
but
that's fine.
There you go.
That's cool. I guess that settles it.
I'm happy to hear that you're. And I was happy to hear you. But. Still haven't convinced you, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm not looking to convince anybody though. That's one key. And in fact, to tell you the truth, as far as looking to my videos to gain knowledge about the Earth being whether it's a ball or not, I would steer you more towards like Eric Dubay or other sources.
Don't worry, I've been very thorough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. No, I hear you. And again, I'm doing an experiment, on my own. So.
Fantastic.
Without the ability to produce a level surface over 2 miles, are you telling me it's absolutely impossible that this experiment could produce a result that could at least steer me in a different direction?
Okay, I'm about to go.
Okay, man, I hear you. I hear you.
The way you're doing it, you should consider a different way of building a level surface. I just don't get how it's going to be level not to the Earth the way you're doing it.
It's so messed up, man. I know. I believe me. I understand what it is you're saying,
you're gonna take
but I just have a hard time accepting it.
You're going to take one line, right?
I don't know. I planned on having the surveyor. I mean, now it sounds like a surveyor can't survey out a straight lace line for 2 miles. That's what it sounds like you're telling me. There's no such. You're basically telling me there's no such thing as straight on this Earth. There's no such thing as a flat level.
When they build bridges, like really long bridges,
right?
When they design the bridges, they account for the curvature of the Earth in their design, and you can look at their blueprints.
Near my house, there's a bridge over water. Yeah. It's 24 miles long.
Yeah.
Okay. I live near New Orleans.
How much hump of water is expected over 24 miles? You remember? 24 times 24 times 8 inches is what? 480 and another 80. So you're talking 580 times 8 inches. So you're in. What is that? 600 times 8 inches is 4,800 inches. So you're talking a significant amount of Earth curvature over 20 miles.
Assuming that the Earth is flat.
Well, no, that's assuming that the Earth is a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the edge?
We don't know. I don't know, man. How do we know there is an edge, right? Like, I don't know.
It's flat. Wouldn't
right?
Be an edge.
Why? Why would there is there an edge to space?
Does it just go forever?
Yeah.
There is an edge to space? You been there?
I haven't been there.
Theoretically, there is one, or you know?
Okay, here's my point.
I'm just asking.
So you're saying someone who's blind can't like figure out anything because you have to.
No, I'm just saying. You just told me there's an edge to space, and I'd like to know how you prove that.
Because well, okay, so you can prove like how far.
What, that bothers you because I ask a question that can't be answered? You can't answer that in the affirmative. That you can prove it.
Yeah.
He's not. You're not going to be able to prove it.
Oh, he's going to answer. Is there an edge?
To space?
No.
Oh, to Earth? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Is it if space is infinite, couldn't Earth be infinite?
So like,
why do you think space is?
if you go from like here to
I just said if it is.
to like Asia, past Asia, you'll eventually get back to America, right?
He says it's a disc.
Yeah, well, what happens is your north is directly in the center, and your south, I believe, is around the outside.
I could keep going south.
So what happens is you yeah, but as you
what would happen if I kept going south?
Would you fall off? Flat?
No, you're going to end up in probably in Antarctica region, and which is off limits due to the United Nations Treaty, which was done in 1956 or so, right when they started exploring space.
Just like you've seen video, there's people that have gone to Antarctica and recorded videos. Have they not?
Of course they have, but they're not exploring there. They go to the edge. It's in a controlled manner. This is like one of the only treaties that's been in existence for over 50 years. Strange how they're all cooperative on making sure you can't explore Antarctica.
Some countries have they claim sections of Antarctica.
Yeah.
Like New Zealand.
Well, I think it's more a matter of that your average guy can't go there and go stumble around and check the place out. It's kind of like supervised. Everything's done under supervision.
You should get funding.
People are doing that. Yeah. People are doing that. Listen, this will probably get cracked one way or another, I guess, at some point. But to me, that the strangest thing for me is how everybody can gloss over how YouTube and Google are actively censoring and actively promoting videos and articles that debunk flat Earth in a manner that is so fearful that your average guy, like they're so afraid that your average guy is going to learn about flat Earth and think that the Earth is flat. Most people don't care anyway. So who is it that they're protecting and why would be my question.
For example, like I don't think there's any harm in believing in the Earth is flat because that has like no like consequences. Like
sure it does.
It's not going to affect your like daily life.
Right, it does.
I don't. If the Earth is according to like your theory of the Earth, like, so I like just do my daily life, like nothing happens. But like sometimes there's other there's other information in those flat Earth videos, and that might be why they're taking it out. Maybe it's not about that the Earth is flat. Maybe it's about stuff about like vaccines or stuff about global warming that they want to take down. Because that actually has consequences.
But now you're an expert on vaccines too. I mean,
I never said I was an expert.
But no, I know. But what I'm saying,
are you an expert on vaccines?
No, but what my point is though is that what takes place is that the censorship is always going to now fall into the hands of somebody who is ultimately deciding truth. Who is that person, and where do they get this power, and where do they get this responsibility from?
Many people decide truth, because like there is.
Well, no, not many people do. YouTube. When YouTube censors a video, right? It's now falling. Wait. No, but think about it.
I thought you had to go.
If YouTube I do. I'm concerned. I don't want to get a ticket. But if YouTube is getting to the point now where they're censoring a meme or a thought or anything, a process, there's only a few people at YouTube who are making that decision. It's not a bunch of people at a committee going.
YouTube a company, like can't they do what they want to do?
Well, that's again. Look up Town Square. Look up Town Square law YouTube, and you'll see there are laws that they started building because YouTube became a public square.
I don't have to let anything someone says be. Like,
right.
My company doesn't have to endorse whatever anyone says.
I'm very pro that. Like I am. Hey, if it's a private company, but they've kind of morphed beyond private. If you ask me, I really do believe that.
Sorry, can I get your email again?
Yeah, David@EphesiansDay.com and Zoom Truth on YouTube is my channel.
What?
And you can but I hope you.